There's a powerful shift that happens in our bodies after age 50. Some notice it in their joints, others in their sleep patterns or energy levels. And for many, it's a change they can't quite explain, just a slower rhythm to everything. But aging, contrary to what we've been told, isn't something we are meant to surrender to. According to a growing body of research, how you age is up to you, far more than we once believed. Doctors around the world now agree that aging well is not about genetics alone. In fact, studies from institutions like Harvard Medical School and Stanford University show that only 20 to 30% of aging is genetically determined. The remaining 70 to 80%? It comes down to your habits, mindset, and daily choices. Today, we'll explore 6 key habits that physicians, longevity researchers, and functional health experts swear by. These are not trends or fads. They are science-backed, life-shaping principles that can help you not just add years to your life, but life to your years. Habit 1. Move intelligently and move often. Doctors across disciplines, from cardiology to oncology, agree on one thing. Consistent, intelligent movement is one of the most powerful tools we have to delay aging. In a study published in the British Journal of Sports Medicine, researchers followed over 15,000 adults and found that just 150 minutes of moderate activity per week, roughly 20 minutes per day, was linked to a 33% reduction in all-cause mortality. But it's not just about living longer. Movement keeps you functional, independent, and mentally sharp. Here's why. Muscle mass is protective. According to the American Journal of Medicine, people with higher muscle mass have lower rates of mortality. Exercise regulates insulin. After 50, insulin sensitivity naturally declines. Moderate aerobic activity and resistance training help the body use insulin more effectively, preventing type 2 diabetes. Physical activity reduces inflammation. Chronic low-grade inflammation is a major contributor to aging, often called inflammaging. A 2018 study in Nature Communications showed that regular physical activity lowers markers like C-reactive protein and interleukin-6. Doctors recommend a few key principles. Walk daily. Aim for 7,000 to 10,000 steps per day. Walking lowers blood pressure, boosts circulation, and supports brain function. Strength training twice a week. Lifting weights, using resistance bands, or doing bodyweight exercises like squats or push-ups maintains muscle mass and bone density. Balance and coordination exercises. Falls are the leading cause of injury in older adults. Simple practices like standing on one leg or doing Tai Chi can improve stability and prevent accidents. Stretching and mobility. Yoga, Pilates, or dynamic stretching supports joint health, posture, and flexibility. The goal isn't intensity, it's consistency. Even 10-minute movement breaks throughout your day have measurable benefits on inflammation, glucose control, and mood. Habit 2. Eat to reduce inflammation and fuel longevity. Food becomes more than energy after 50. It becomes information. What you eat literally talks to your cells, telling them to either regenerate or deteriorate. Studies in nutritional epigenetics have shown that certain foods can influence gene expression, switching off genes associated with inflammation and disease, and switching on those linked to repair and detoxification. Key nutritional guidelines doctors recommend for longevity. 1. High-quality protein. Muscle loss, or sarcopenia, accelerates after age 50. The Journal of the International Society of Sports Nutrition recommends 1.2 to 1.5 grams of protein per kilogram of body weight per day for older adults. A good sources: wild-caught salmon, eggs, legumes, tofu, chicken, Greek yogurt. 2. Omega-3 fatty acids. Found in fatty fish like sardines, mackerel, and walnuts, omega-3s help reduce systemic inflammation. A meta-analysis in JAMA showed that omega-3 intake is associated with lower risk of heart disease and cognitive decline. 3. Antioxidant-rich plants. The polyphenol in berries, leafy greens, olive oil, turmeric, and green tea help reduce oxidative stress, a major contributor to aging. The Mediterranean diet, rich in these compounds, has been linked to slower cognitive decline in multiple studies, including one from the New England Journal of Medicine. 4. Prebiotic and probiotic foods. The gut microbiome plays a critical role in immunity, mood regulation, and inflammation. After 50, microbial diversity tends to decline. Eat more fermented foods, yogurt, kefir, kimchi, fiber-rich vegetables, leeks, garlic, onions, and whole grains. 5. Intermittent fasting or time-restricted eating. According to a 2020 study in Cell Metabolism, eating within a 10-hour window improved metabolic markers, reduced insulin resistance, and lowered blood pressure in older adults. What to reduce or eliminate? Added sugars, processed meats, trans fats and refined seed oils, alcohol in excess, ultra-processed foods with artificial additives. Nutrition is not about restriction. It's about precision. Eat for your mitochondria, your hormones, your immune system, and your future self will thank you. Habit 3. Prioritize deep, restorative sleep. Sleep is not just a passive state. It is an active, metabolic process that regulates hormone production, immune function, and cellular repair. Sleep scientist Dr. Matthew Walker, author of Why We Sleep, explains that deep sleep is the only time the brain can detox itself through a system called the glymphatic system. Without it, toxins like beta amyloid, linked to Alzheimer's disease, begin to accumulate. The National Institute on Aging reports that poor sleep is associated with an increased risk of cardiovascular disease, depression, and metabolic dysfunction, especially in adults over 50. Physiological effects of poor sleep include increased cortisol and blood sugar, reduced insulin sensitivity, impaired cognitive function and memory, elevated blood pressure and heart rate variability, accelerated cellular aging due to shorter telomeres. Doctors suggest optimizing sleep by following a few essential principles. Sleep consistency. Go to bed and wake up at the same time daily. Dark environment. Use blackout curtains and avoid screens before bed. Cool temperature. 65 to 68 degrees Fahrenheit supports melatonin production. Magnesium-rich foods, spinach, pumpkin seeds, and dark chocolate can help. Avoid stimulants. Limit caffeine to mornings only. Sleep tracking devices like the Oura Ring or sleep apps can help monitor sleep stages and provide personalized feedback. Sleeping well is not optional. It's foundational. Habit 4. Maintain social connection and emotional resilience. The longest-running longitudinal study on aging, the Harvard Study of Adult Development, found that the number one predictor of long-term happiness and health is the quality of close relationships, not cholesterol levels or career success. Social isolation increases the risk of premature death by 29%, according to a 2015 study published in Perspectives on Psychological Science. Loneliness has been linked to elevated inflammation, weakened immunity, depression, and even faster progression of Alzheimer's disease. Doctors and psychologists emphasize the importance of community belonging, whether through church, volunteering, or a hobby group, daily social interaction, phone calls, shared meals, even chatting with neighbors. Emotional openness, vulnerability, and expression reduce psychological stress. Intergenerational relationships. Spending time with younger people stimulates memory and broadens perspective. Pets and nature. Both reduce cortisol and increase oxytocin. Mental health professionals also point to the role of purpose. Studies from the Okinawa Centenarian Study and the Blue Zones Project show that people who have a strong sense of purpose, whether caregiving, gardening, or mentoring, live longer and report higher life satisfaction. Connection is medicine. Friendship is prevention. Habit 5. Stimulate cognitive vitality. Cognitive decline is not inevitable. Research in neuroplasticity has proven that the brain can grow, adapt, and rewire itself throughout life, even into your 70s, 80s, and beyond. In fact, studies from the Mayo Clinic and UCSF show that cognitive training, lifelong learning, and curiosity are associated with a lower risk of dementia. Doctors now recommend the following activities for cognitive resilience. Lifelong learning, whether it's a language, a musical instrument, or a new skill, challenging your brain helps form new neural pathways. Games and puzzles. Brain-stimulating games like Sudoku, chess, and logic puzzles improve executive function and processing speed. Reading daily. Reading slows age-related cognitive decline and builds vocabulary, memory, and empathy. Writing and reflection. Keeping a journal improves memory consolidation and emotional regulation. Mind-body practices. Tai Chi, Qigong, and mindful movement connect the brain and body in integrated patterns. Importantly, neurogenesis, the birth of new brain cells, continues in the hippocampus well into late adulthood, especially when stimulated by learning and exercise. Your brain is not in decline. It's in your hands. Habit 6. Cultivate a resilient, present, and grateful mindset. Your mindset literally changes your biology. A 2019 study in psychosomatic medicine found that people who practiced daily gratitude had lower inflammation, better heart rate variability, and reduced levels of depression. Harvard Health researchers discovered that people with a positive outlook on aging, believing they can stay active, purposeful, and valuable, lived an average of 7.5 years longer than those with a negative view. Stress, on the other hand, accelerates aging. Chronic stress shortens telomeres, the protective caps at the ends of your chromosomes, which are directly linked to longevity. Doctors encourage cultivating a mindset of resilience through mindfulness meditation. Just 10 to 15 minutes a day lowers cortisol, enhances attention, and thickens the prefrontal cortex. Gratitude journaling. Writing 3 things you're grateful for each day boosts dopamine and serotonin. Nature exposure. Spending time in green spaces improves parasympathetic activity and reduces stress markers. Deep breathing practices. The 4-7-8 technique activates the vagus nerve and regulates the nervous system. Therapy or coaching. Talking to a professional about emotional patterns supports both mental and physical health. Aging with grace is as much about your emotional habits as your physical ones. These 6 habits aren't exotic or extreme. They're rooted in decades of research and centuries of wisdom. What they require is not perfection, but devotion, movement, nourishment, rest, connection, growth, reflection. When practiced consistently, these 6 principles can transform your life after 50 from one of decline to one of vitality, strength, and deep joy. Because aging isn't the end of something. It's the beginning of something better. You deserve to live well, not just long.